Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sarah. On today's tutorial, we are going to be learning how to make this jumbo pants with tassels on the side. If that's something you're interested in, come with me and let's get started. Also, do not forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thank you. I'm going to be using 3 yards of fabric, and I'm also going to be using a bias tape as the tassel on the side and elastic for the elastic band that we're going to be adding to this. The first thing we're going to do for this is get the length of what we want it to be. So here I'm minusing 2 inches because that's what my band is going to be, and then I'm going to get my length. You could do whatever you want your length to be. For me here, my length was 42. Still taking the 2 inches away, I'm going to go ahead and mark out the difference from my waist to my hip, which for me here is 10. If you go ahead to put your tape back, you see that this is 8, but you could go ahead to do 9 depending on how hippie you are, right? After which I'm going to go ahead to mark out the difference from my hip to my crotch area. For me here, I'm using 3 inches. You can use 4 depending on how low you want the crotch area to be. After I do that, I'm going to go ahead and just measure this out and make sure it's perfect and it's what I want. Then I'll go ahead to label crotch and hip area. Here I did my hip measurement plus 1.5 inch, and that's what I'm marking out here, which is basically 12 and a half. Okay, and I'm just going to roll a straight line across from the waist to the hip line, and then I'll use my curved rule, my French curve, to make a curve from the hip line to the crotch area. Now that we're done doing that and we have everything in check, I'm going to go ahead and on the side here go in by 1 inch and use my hip curve to create a curve from that point to the hip area. After which we're going to go ahead and cut the crotch area and the length line. After we've done that, we're going to go ahead and cut out the back. Now for the back here, I'm just going to be extending the crotch area into the back, and I'm going to go out by 3 inches on the crotch area. On the hip line, I'm going to go out by 2.5 inch, and I'll do the same for the waistline. I'll go ahead to use my straight rule to connect the lines for the waist and hip, and I'll use my French curve to connect from the crotch area to the hip line. There's not much to do. Now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and extend the waistline into what we already have, and then I'm going to go up by 1.5 inch. You can use 1 inch if you so choose, but this is going to be dependent on how big your bum is. Okay, so I'm going up by 1.5 inch, and then I'll use my straight rule to connect that from that point to the center front area. And just go ahead to rule our line and make sure it's visible. And after which we're going to go ahead now at the leg area. We're going to go out by 3 inches. And I'm going to use my straight rule to connect it afterwards. And also do the same for the hem area. And after that, we're just going to go ahead now and cut this out. And I know that you're right, but you should know it. You've been gone. I'm going to go over to the sewing machine and sew the crotch area by 1/2 inch. For the pocket, I already have a detailed tutorial on how to make a pocket for this kind of trousers or any kind of pants you want to make. So I'll be leaving that in the comment section and also in the description box. You can go and check it out if you really want to learn how to add a pocket to your work. Next I'm actually going to do is place the front part onto the back, and I'm going to be marking out from the waist area 16 and a half, because that's where my sewing is going to stop. Remember that there is a slit at the side of the pants, so I'm going to stop at 16 and a half. You can go higher if you want, that's totally on you. And I also went ahead to close the lower part, which is like the under part, by half an inch as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we have our slits. I'm just going to go ahead and close this like so. Just pleat it. More like a fold. It's more like a fold. You're just going to go ahead and fold both sides. And this is what we're going to have afterwards. Okay, now that we have this, we're going to go ahead and mark out the spaces at which we want the tassels to be placed on. You can use a tassel, you can use a bias tape, okay? But for me, I'm going to be using a bias tape to be forming that bow at the side. So obviously we're going to start with the 16 and a half that we have, and I decided to go down from that part by 4 inches. So we are going to be leaving a space of 4 inches in between all of this, right? So we have our first four, we'll mark our second four, we'll mark our third four, and then our fourth four. So I have basically 5 spaces for what I want to use. You can go ahead and put it all the way to the bottom part if you so please, but I want it to just be 5 placings, and that's why I'm doing this. For the bias tape, the bias tape is 24 inches in length. Obviously we're going to go ahead and put it on the first part, which is a no-brainer, and then we're going to go ahead and place it on the inside. Basically make sure that your bias tape is equal, okay, and then go ahead to place it on the inside of the part where you have marked. I'm going to be using my pin to hold this so it stays in place, and I will also do the same for the other side. Okay, so now that we have this, we're going to go ahead and sew it down and basically repeat the same action for the other ones. After I go ahead to do that, I'll go ahead to attach the band. I also have a detailed tutorial on how to do and attach the band, so I'll be leaving that in the description box, and I'll also be hemming the bottom part. This is what the pants look like after I was done with everything, and as you can see, you can actually loosen and tie it back if you so choose, right? And you see how neat the sewing is. That's how yours should be. You can either leave it loose or tie it back into a bow. The choice is yours. Now that we've gotten to this part of the video, I hope you get to try this out for yourself. I hope you love the process of making yours as I have enjoyed the process of making mine. With that being said, y'all, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified when I post a new tutorial. Don't forget to love yourself because I love you. Have a beautiful day or night, whichever it is you live for. Bye.